What a weekend.
Because how crazy is life?
Here I was just last week, just looking forward to media day. And then just like that, boom. Well, he is a Knick, but he isn't, because they weren't also allowed to really talk about the trade because the trade is not finalized, because the Knicks are still trying to either add players to match the money to make the trade make sense, or bring in a third team. There's all kinds of rumors and everything going around. So the trade is not finalized, but I mean, we know he's a Knick. I mean, hell, this tweet already went out as far as the jersey number that Randall is going to be wearing. There's a lot that goes on with this, but we had media day. The Knicks made a big move last week. All kinds of things happened. Media day yesterday. In case you missed it, let's talk about it. But before all that, run the intro. What's good, CK Crew? It's your boy CK2K, and welcome back to another video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to like this video. People, we're gonna talk about the craziness of media day. We're gonna talk a little bit more on the Karl Anthony Towns. I'm sure you have heard everybody talk about it, but I'm gonna give my 2 cents on what I think the move means. And there's a little bit of other news around the NBA that is circling our Knicks, but other teams are talking about it. But before we get into any of that, we gotta thank the lovely people over at HelloFresh. Now, some say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and you know, that is very important. And actually, HelloFresh agrees, because in fact, they're going to be giving you guys free breakfast with every box for life.
It's a long time.
That means you'll enjoy a free breakfast item with every box that is delivered to you by HelloFresh. HelloFresh has more options to support your wellness journey than ever before. Dig into their biggest menu yet with 50 plus dinner options and even more market items that suit any health lifestyle. And don't just take my word on it, y'all. I've been using HelloFresh for a long time, and thanks to lovely people at HelloFresh, they got me right back into the game. So go to HelloFresh.com and use my code that you see right here, or simply just click the link in the description, and right away that you will receive up to 10 free meals and free breakfast included with each and every box. As I mentioned, link is in the description below. Thanks, HelloFresh. Now let's talk about the Knicks. So media day, or content day, they call it now, right? It's called content day. That's what they call it now. I mean, we all know the same shtick, but there was a little bit of extra oomph in this year's content day. I'm stuttering because I want to say media day, but it's content day.
Get it together.
Because people were anticipating and excited to hear and see the new Karl Anthony Towns move, if he's gonna be there, what he's gonna do, is he gonna talk? But obviously, with the deal not officially being concrete and done, Karl Anthony Towns was not able to be a part of media day today. I mean, the most we got was this shot. Very creepy shot at that, of Karl Anthony Towns getting out of an SUV rocking a Knicks snapback. So we know he's gonna be a Knick, but it's not official yet, so they can't do anything. But what I would imagine is that they did some content stuff with Karl Anthony Towns when the cameras went away, so they could still knock that out and have that for MSG videos or commercials and stuff like that. But we just couldn't see it yet because it's not official. So with that, that means the media could not officially ask questions pertaining to Karl. I mean, they could ask the questions as they did, but the players and Mr. Tom Thibodeau couldn't necessarily answer those questions concretely. No, I'm serious. Jalen Brunson was asked about Karl Anthony Towns, and Jalen just acted like he had no idea who Karl even was.
Excuse me?
Did you say hi to Karl when you got here?
Who's Karl? Don't know who that is. Don't know who that is.
Josh Hart acting like he just heard about the trade for the first time.
What report?
You got cat? Oh, wow, it's crazy.
And Tom Thibodeau was not hearing anything that had to do with Karl Anthony Towns.
Can't comment on it.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, A for effort, but my favorite one was this guy trying to ask about Tom Thibodeau's previous tenure with the Timberwolves and how he was with Cat then. It was great.
Being that you can't comment on a trade, can you comment? Talk about what you coach Karl Anthony Towns, what kind of guy he is?
Good try.
So yeah, nobody was answering, nobody was talking about it. It was the biggest elephant in the room, biggest cat in the room. I'm gonna let y'all have that. You know what I meant. But no one could talk about it. No one could talk about it. Well, until they could. You could tell that Jalen Brunson eventually opened up about the players that would be departing in Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah, that was definitely tough. Thankful that Julius welcomed me with open arms here. Yeah, not gonna lie, that news was crazy. But I'm really thankful for them and their friendships and everything and what they brought to this team. The memories we made together, it was really fun. Absolutely. And Dante, I mean, he was a groomsman at my wedding. That should tell you everything you need to know about our relationship, and love him to death.
And so did Josh Hart, talking about what it's going to be like when they come back to the Garden for the first time and the reception they're going to get.
I think for him, it was probably, pretty difficult and pretty frustrating. He, came here, when they were losing record, where they were struggling, and he helped, turn the franchise around and kind of change the trajectory of it. And, I think New York and the fan base is, eternally grateful for him for that. And the time that he spent here, I think he's, as you guys know, he plays with extreme passion and competitiveness. Probably tough, but I hope, I think he played him in preseason, but, when we see them again in preseason and when they come here, I hope and know that, the Guard are going to show both of those guys love for the sacrifices they made in the Knicks jersey.
So yeah, they can't necessarily say anything about Cat, but they still showed love to their former teammates that are going to be on their way. Now, the same thing also went on in Minnesota, as we saw Ant Edwards talk a little bit about Cat. So you know how it goes. So if you're looking and wondering who said this, how did it go, they couldn't talk about it until they just talked a little bit briefly about the guys that they had. They're going to be moving on to Minnesota. So moving past the Cat stuff, to be honest, there really wasn't much of anything else being talked about. I mean, we heard about OG Anunoby doubling down on him, never wanting to go anywhere else besides New York and free agency.
No, I always wanted to be here, so it wasn't a hard decision for me.
And we got to see my guy, Mikal Bridges, rocking the New York Knicks jersey for the first time. And he also hit some really, really dope spots. I mean, if you guys know me and the way that I love to watch basketball, this answer by Mikal Bridges made me so happy.
You want to be a really good team, great team, just everybody got sacrifice and playing the right way, take the open shot, find the next guy. It's pretty simple in a way when you play for the guys out there that you care about and you know that you're going to give them a right pass perfectly for them to get a good-looking shot and reading the defense. If, that guy's guarding you, you got your guy right next to you. So I think just making the right read, I think, obviously, if you want to be one of the best teams, everybody got to be dialed in, and there's always a sacrifice through everybody from the first guy to the guy, last guy on the bench. So always sacrifice when it comes to trying to be, the best.
But you already know that you can find tons of other clips and everything else that was talked about on this. But to be real with you, those were the big talking pieces. Everybody wants to know about Karl-Anthony Towns. They couldn't really answer about it. So other than that, they talked about what they're expecting and hoping for the season. Typical media day stuff. And to be honest, that was about that for media content day. We also got some great photos, some great images from the day. Like I said, we were seeing Mikal in his jersey for the first time. But unfortunately, no big three photo or anything like that. No Cat and Jalen photos or, stuff like that, because they're just not able to do any of that just yet. But we're eventually probably going to see those photos when the trade is official. But speaking of the trade, we know the black and white of Karl-Anthony Towns for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo, but there's also other little fixings that are probably going to be a part of it. We saw that the Knicks had to cut Marcus Morris and Chuma Okeke not too long ago to make some space for Landry Shamet. We know that they're probably going to include one of those contracts of Bates, of Daquan, a bunch of things and stuff that needs to be cleared up to make this trade officially go through, which in due time I'm sure it will. Hell, probably by the time this video is up, it was finalized of who and what went over for that deal. But the other big news was that Mitchell Robinson, the long surviving Knick, and if you didn't know that, he made sure he let you know that when he posted this right here. A lot of people feeling the type of way. Let me know what you think about that post by Mitch. But anyways, Mitch is also possibly going to be moved. I mean, the big conversation was the Knicks were possibly looking to trade Mitchell Robinson for Trey Murphy of the New Orleans Pelicans. It's like the Knicks are trying to rewrite and bring all the draft picks that they wanted to have finally to the New York Knicks when they have the chance. That isn't finalized. There's nothing concrete about that, but there were conversations between the two teams making a deal centered around Mitch going to New Orleans and Trey Murphy coming to the Knicks. Now, again, I use the word rumor very aggressively because as much as I love Mitch, it'd be an odd choice for the New Orleans Pelicans to do something like that, especially right now before the season. I can see this move more around trade deadline time because Trey Murphy is Trey Murphy, and they're gonna be giving a player away for a guy that they're gonna have to wait for half a year to get on the team. That's their identity. They got a bunch of injury prone guys on that team anyways, from BI to CJ McCullough to Zion Williamson, and now you're gonna add Mitch to it. It just wouldn't make sense. Not my problem, but I'm also being realistic here. But hey, I would love Trey Murphy on this version of the Knicks, especially with the wings we already got, and now with Karl Anthony Towns coming through. What you guys' thoughts on those rumors about Mitchell Robinson not only possibly being moved for Trey Murphy, but just in fact that the Knicks are taking calls on Mitchell Robinson? You like that? You don't like that? I mean, to be real with you, I was surprised that the Knicks didn't even have him involved in the move for Cat. I thought that that was a dub to begin with, and if you're able to now even flip him for more assets on top of us getting Karl Anthony Towns in a previous trade, I feel like Leon Rose is out here doing his damn thing. But let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below. Talk about Media Day, talk about Mitch Robinson, but let's talk about Cat. I mean, I didn't really talk much about Cat except for on the live stream that we had, the emergency pod that we had over on KFTV. Called in, was a part of that. It was great. But Karl Anthony Towns, man, Karl Anthony Towns. Where to begin? Lots to be said about what Julius Randle did and was for this team. We know Julius Randle had ups and downs as far as fandom with the New York fan base. We know that a lot of people did not truthfully believe in Julius Randle, and I'm gonna be honest, myself included. I was not the biggest believer of Julius Randle until later on. Probably Brunson's first year was when I was starting to slowly make my way and warm up to the idea of Julius Randle being here long term. But you know, the reality is we ultimately got somebody that fits this team a little bit more than Julius. You could talk about talent all day, you could talk about loyalty all day, but when you talk about fit and what makes sense for this team, Karl Anthony Towns is that. And I'm not the biggest Karl Anthony Towns fan, but again, being unbiased here and being a Knicks fan, it makes the most sense. Right now, the Knicks just brought in a stretch five that can play the four, that is a willing shooter. Julius Randle was a guy that went to the rim, was a guy that attacked all the time, that eventually learned how to shoot as his career went on, but was not a willing shooter. We could talk about the playoff runs with Julius Randle here and there, but you know with Karl Anthony Towns, you know he's going to go out there and give you some effort. People are talking about him being soft and stuff like that. I think those are empty arguments in my humble opinion, but you know, we got somebody in Karl Anthony Towns. I love the effort he gave defensively last year, something that, you know, Karl Anthony Towns was very up and down with throughout his career, but last year we saw that take a step up. He's a very willing passer too. I feel like people are underrating that part of his game, and to have somebody that could be a legitimate threat for the opposing defenses, where that only helps Jalen Brunson, where you know Jalen Brunson is going to be the first person that these teams are planning for. When you have Karl Anthony Towns, you can't leave him alone. So I'm already anticipating from Mikal Bridges to find a combination of Brooklyn Nets Mikal and Phoenix Mikal, and then make this super wing Mikal Bridges that is going to be what's going to be known as the New York Knicks version, because with Cat getting that attention, with Brunson getting attention, and defense is going to be paying attention to those guys, Mikal Bridges has the open window to be a great player, and I think that is just the effect of what Karl Anthony Towns is going to bring to this team. So overall, yeah, it sucks because we're losing a guy like Donte DiVincenzo as well, coming off of a career year, coming off of a high percentage three-point year, hell, coming off of breaking the Knicks record in three-pointers, A, in a game, and B, for the season, and then he gets bounced in the same year. It's tough. It's really tough. But, you know, unfortunately, Donte DiVincenzo is getting that moniker of a journeyman. He's always going to be that guy attached to deals. And this was just another one of those situations. But in the long haul, Karl Anthony Towns, fit-wise, just makes more sense for this basketball team, especially when completely healthy. So excited about the deal. Yeah, we're shaking off Donte DiVincenzo, Julius Randle being shipped. Luckily too, he only gave away the protected pick from Detroit, which is a no big deal. Get rid of that, not a big deal. We're also going to see Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride's game is going to open up. Deuce McBride is now going to officially be that sixth man. None of that, you know, possibly going to play a little bit of minutes here and then going to be playing aggressive minutes the next day. He's gonna be the guy off the bench unless we make a Trey Murphy type of trade where then it puts Josh Hart back on the bench. For right now, Deuce McBride, he has that spot locked down. So hopefully what we saw last year is just the beginning of what he can ultimately turn into. But now we're going to get that opportunity to see it. Now, conversations about rotation, who's going to be what, we'll save that for another video. But hey, let me know in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on the trade? What do you think our rotation is going to be? Let me know all that in the comments below. Please be your boy CK. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to like this video, and also make sure you click the HelloFresh link. At least check out the deal and see if it is within a price point that you can manage. Like I said, I would never put anything to you guys that I don't completely support myself. Click the link in the description below, see if it's something for you. All right, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Let's get it. Karl Anthony Towns, man. Hey, for my 2K heads out there, if you've already used Karl Anthony Towns before on the Knicks, dude is nice, but let's see how it is in real life. I'm out of here. Peace.
I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long. Look, running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes. I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long. Look, running from pain, running from strain, running